about the three other mistakes that I see women are making. So as I'm gonna share those things, you are welcome to join. Oh, hello from Sydney. Hello, hello. So you're welcome to start asking me questions while I'm gonna share the three biggest mistakes that I see women make in relationship. And the biggest one is when a woman tries to control her man and tell him that you cannot hang out with these friends, or you cannot do this, for example, play baseball or play basketball or go to the bar with friends and drink. Every time a woman is taking away the freedom that a man cannot do something, a man feels like she puts him in a box, and this box feels like a prison. And so, ladies, don't do that. Men hate that. Number two, that I see a lot of women are doing, they're saying they want something. They want something from a man, and they say, okay, if you're not gonna pay rent this month for me, we're not gonna have sex. Or she tells him, if you're not gonna buy me those diamond earrings for my birthday, we're not gonna have sex. So she wants something, and she's manipulating him and cutting off sexual intimacy. Ladies, this is a big thing that you should never, ever do with your man. The third mistake that I see a lot of women are also making is they're comparing their man to father, brother, friends, or his father or his brother, or God forbid, if you compare your man to your ex. If you ever do this, your man will have the hardest time to forgive you. So my friends, these are the three biggest mistakes. You gotta remember them. And again, I will post this video later because I already recorded it to you. And this is, of course, I'm not even talking about if you ever cheated on your man. If you ever cheated on him, men will have the hardest time to forgive you. And even if he will forgive, but they really don't, he will never forget that. So I don't even explore that topic because I'm talking about three other mistakes that I see ladies doing. Hi. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and start asking them, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. By the way, just to give you a hint, I stopped working, so some of you asking me if I can do individual sessions. No, I haven't been working for a year and a half, and I'm very happy about it. And plus, not to try to brag about it, but my sessions were $1,200. So even if I share that, most of people are like, oh, we can afford you. So take an advantage of very expensive therapist who can answer your questions. And I'm doing it as a contribution to you, my friends. So let me see if I have any questions. Yes. Yet, advice for dating at 42, divorced after 20 years. Well, that's a good question. Are you been divorced for 6 months, a year or two? Because first year after the divorce, I recommend do spiritual work, really heal, really detach, be in a really good space. Because a man, when you meet men, they're looking for not just sexy and not just pretty. Obviously, that's important. But they're also looking for a happy woman who is confident, happy, doesn't need anyone. And so when you feel whole and complete and happy, you are attracting all kind of men. You'll be even attracting men in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, and in their 50s, because everyone is gravitating towards happiness. And so your main job is not to find somebody who's like, okay, please be with me, just be with me, anybody date me, but find your inner core and have principles in life. Because I see a lot of men right now, because they've been burned with women, they've gone through divorces, and a lot of times they're just playing women. They start texting at night, they start calling at night. Obviously, they want to hook up, they want to have sex, they're very sexual creatures, but you gotta have principle, because if you're just gonna go on a hookup, if you're gonna have a sex on the first date, you're gonna burn bridges very quickly. So I teach women, Date and date before you give your cherry away. So a man will have a chance to actually fall in love with you. And so that's very important. But you will have principles towards yourself and in a relationship when you value yourself. And where's that value comes from is when you do either spiritual work, you do emotional work, you go for a walk, you go for a run, you take care of your physical body. When you start reading, when you start listening to lectures, or if you're still broken from the marriage and you take therapy, you heal yourself on the emotional level. And when you do the spiritual level, you heal your soul. And that's where the happiness comes in. And so work on yourself, and then you're gonna start gravitating emotionally healthy and happy men as well, because we attract who we are. If we're broken, we attract broken. If we're happy, we attract happy. So I hope that helps. Really good question. Finding your channel, my life, changed my life. Oh, thank you. That's the best compliment I can have. Hi from Boston. Hello from Atlanta. Here in Atlanta. Just became a top 1 viewer. I appreciate that. Thank you. If I have 50K debt from student loan, should I be paying it? I'll be honest with you. I finally finished paying my student loans. Actually, I haven't. My husband helped me a few years ago. Wow, it felt like a prison. Having loans, any type of loans, car loan, student loan, medical loan, when we owe money, it's like we feel constrained. And so if you are working, if you have a job, I would strongly recommend for you to start paying it. But at the same time, if you're a woman, and men not gonna like to hear this, but it's truth. When a man marries you, you come with baggage, and the student loan is part of the baggage. And it's not your job to fully pay it off and then feel exhausted that you're constantly paying off the student loan, but at the same time hoping to find a man who can support you with it once you find him. Because again, a man's job is to provide and to protect. So I was very blessed that my husband was helping me to pay off this student loan. I was helping and he was helping me as well. And what a freedom not to have a student loan debt. And so I strongly recommend for you to paying it off, but also a lot of women feel embarrassed. They feel like it's my obligation to pay it off. But no, my friends. It's also a man's responsibility to help you with it. But at the same time, if your man is making only $50,000 per year, obviously he can help you to pay it off in 1 year. It might take him 10 years, and it's okay, because it's our responsibility to accept their income. If he makes only $50,000, it's $50,000. If he makes only $40,000, $40,000 it is, because we women want to be ambitious and then start helping them or looking for a very rich man. By the way, a lot of rich men also have a lot of, I'm sorry to say, issues. So women, when they're like, I have to have a rich man, then they find a rich man and he doesn't help her financially at all. And so it's not that you need to look for a rich man or a broke man. You need to look for a man with principles. You need to look for a man who has ambitions to succeed, who is working on himself. And that's our woman's responsibility, because behind every man is a queen. We are their neck. If you believe in man, he will succeed. If you think he won't, he will not. Yeah, we have this power, ladies. Can't find a Christian man. The men are crazy, my friends. It's not just men crazy. Women are crazy. Few months ago, I've met a lady. Very religious, goes to church every month, and then a few weeks afterwards, she started bombarding me with text messages at midnight, at 1 o'clock in the morning, asking questions how to deal with her toxic mother, how to deal with her toxic father. No boundaries. And at some point I said, listen, I'm not your therapist. And wow, how many ugly, nasty texts she sent me. I thought, wow, we're thinking just because the person is religious, just the person goes to church, they're gonna be good. No, my friends. I don't go to, I'm not gonna share my religion, but let's say church or temple or synagogue, okay? But I pray every day. So it's not about checkmark going to church or going to a temple or synagogue. It's how you have a relationship with a higher power. And I will tell you, my friends, when you start having authentic relationship to God or to universe or higher power, you're gonna start surrounding yourself with people like you. You gotta start looking for people who are true believers, who are really true spiritual people, who are truly religious people, whatever that is important to you. But you cannot just go by, okay, they go to church, that's good enough. No, you gotta find the community. And yes, there's a lot of broken people, and it's not just men, it's women also. When I go outside talking to women for more than 10 minutes, it's exhausting for me because women are so masculine. I have to work, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, we have to do either affirmations or meditation or prayer or something in order to slow down, because women are overstressed, over anxious, and I feel exhausted most of the time talking to women. That's why I have my spiritual meetings, ritual with my friends, girlfriends every Tuesday. We come together, I start with meditation, we draw, we eat, we talk, and slowly but surely every week I see they're becoming more and more feminine. Otherwise, the world is too masculine, and women are not designed to be masculine. And so, again, our whole society right now is not healthy, my friends. So don't tell that it's just men, it's women also, it's everybody. Yes, my friends. How to be less jealous and judgmental? This is a very good question. See, my friends, the jealousy comes from lack. For example, if you're a man and you don't want your wife to go spend time with girlfriends or with other friends, or even if you're a woman, you don't want your man to go spend time with friends, because there is a fear inside. The fear translates itself is that if you're gonna be happy, I'm gonna be jealous. And God forbids if you're gonna find somebody else, or God forbids you have a good time. And there's the jealousy because there's no happiness inside. And so there's jealousy is mainly made out of feeling of anger and fear. And so the anger is like, you're going to be happier than I am and having a good time while I'm staying home, cooking or cleaning or working on the roof, fixing the roof or whatever. And so that's where the jealousy comes from. When people are happy inside, they're not jealous. And so that's why it's so critical to work on yourself, because the other person not going to make you feel negative or bad or anything. They cannot do anything with you. It's your own inner world. And so when you start, let's say hypothetically, running every morning, you have so many endorphins, you have so much positivity and confidence inside. And when you do it every day as a man, you're starting to build yourself and you start to overcome those insecurities, this fear, this anger. And so even if your wife wants to go out with her girlfriends, or even if your husband wants to go out with his guy friends, you're okay because you're starting to fill yourself up. And if on top of it, you're going to start doing the spiritual practices, wow, your soul starts to feel really whole and complete. And then no matter what your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband or wife doing it, you are content and you're happy on your own. Nobody will be able to trigger or push your buttons. Also, sometimes people are also jealous because when they met a boyfriend or a girlfriend, when they haven't been actually a boyfriend or girlfriend yet, they just met. They had intimacy on the first, second, or third date. So they haven't really got to know each other, and they got into intimacy because the chemistry and physical attraction was very high. And because they started the sexual intimacy so fast, now they prejudge their partner that if they're gonna go out, they can have sexual intimacy as fast as they had with you. And it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. If the sexual intimacy happened on the first, second, or third date, this quick, the person gonna feel very insecure and very jealous of their partner. So again, I explained to you those two different reasons. That's why it's so critical not to start a relationship based on sexual intimacy. The sexual intimacy should go last. But in our modern society, ooh, you're so hot. Ooh, you're so sexy. Let's go and have some fun in bed. And that's how we're actually breaking the foundation to build a healthy and lasting relationship or marriage. Yes, my friends. It's the hardest thing to do because people are seeking pleasure. Pleasure through eating, pleasure through alcohol, pleasure through sex. And none of that really works. It works for a short period of time. But the inside, the soul, heart is still empty. And that one you can work only on yourself, doing the spiritual practices, doing the physical activity, really filling yourself up. And that's why most of my videos are telling you how to do I wish you happiness affirmation. If you can do this every day, you will see enormous changes really fast. So I hope I answered that question. What is a good book you can recommend? I will tell you a good book, but I am not sure if most of you are gonna read it, but I will recommend it because this book answered the questions to all my questions. And obviously with my degree of psychology, psychoanalysis, hypnotherapy, life coaching, had so many degrees, by the way. It was the worst thing I could have done because now so much knowledge, it's hurting sometimes my brain. That's why I have to share. But psychology was limiting me in realm of a soul. I could not understand why some people, even though I was helping them in therapy and they finished therapy, I still did not see them feeling blissed and happy. And that's why when I started studying spirituality, I was able to connect and get all of my answers. And that's why I strongly and highly recommend the spiritual book called Bhagavad Gita, spiritual book, and the second one is Mahabharata. And the third gonna be psychological books, third, fourth, and the fifth. If you can start with that book, you're gonna get all of the answers about the soul, about what is the meaning of life, how to be happy, what is the purpose of life. So many deep questions, answers to the deep questions that you're not gonna find anywhere else. Again, it truly worked for me. Advice with a gambler husband. Friends, the problem when you see alcohol, drugs, smoking, food, gambling, sex, addiction, all of that, it's the symptom of the problem. It's actually not the real problem. The actual problem behind gambling, sex addiction, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, sugar addiction, food addiction, all of the addictions, or video gaming, is either anxiety or depression. And obviously, with anxiety and depression comes traumas. These are childhood traumas. And until those childhood traumas are resolved and healed, people just gonna look what can distract them from the inner trauma, from the anxiety, depression, and the trauma that they're stuck in. And so some people are just turning to alcohol to numb them, some to sex, some to drugs because the traumas are really bad, some to gambling, and somebody to video games. But it's all they're dealing with traumas that haven't been healed. Now, typical counselors, in United States especially, I haven't seen who truly helped people. They work on the surface of the problem. In United States, if you're in United States, you gotta look for psychoanalysts. They're the best in helping people to resolve those childhood traumas. They're very expensive, but they truly help. But if you're in Belgium, if you're in Germany, if you're in Russia, if you're in Eastern or Western Europe, psychoanalysts are much cheaper and they're really truly extraordinary and amazing. But in United States, wow, they're so expensive and you can hardly lately can find them. But again, you gotta start really addressing this problem. But with your husband, if he is in denial and he would not want to even deal with it, that how you can help him is you can start spiritual practices. And as you're doing the affirmation daily, you will start helping him to overcome that, because partners mirroring us. If you can accept his gambling, you're going to inspire him to start working on it, because the consciousness in our partner works in a such a way until you accept that they're alcoholic or sex addict or gambler. They are not even connecting to their consciousness and feeling even guilty for what they're doing. But once you accept him with his addiction, he gonna start connecting to his consciousness, and he gonna start looking at you like, wow, if my wife is feeling so hurt but she can still accepted me, he will have a desire to start working on it. So good luck. It's a tough one, but you can overcome that. What was the name of the second book you recommended? Thank you so much. Mahabharata. And again, I'm gonna do a little post on my TikTok with all of the recommended books. Psychedelics, help with addictions. Some people say that, but it's a theory. And I know a few therapists who believe in that. I am not one of them. But again, you can research and see, maybe it does. But again, through my spiritual practices, I don't drink, I don't do any kind of drugs. I'm working on fully cutting off the sugar, so I'm not into believing that theory. But again, if it works, please let us know. How to handle nagging and insecure wife. You see, friends, for men, the most important feeling is for him to be respected by his wife. But for a wife, the most important feeling is to be loved. And when a man loves a woman, he ignores her nagging and he ignores her insecurities, because when you love a woman, you just understand that this is her nature. There's nothing that she can do. And the moment you start accepting her, that this is who she is, because a woman doesn't know how to be otherwise. And plus, a lot of women nowadays, they also come from broken families, from lack of love. And it's your job to really accept her and love her. Typically, men have no hard time to really loving their wives the way they are, unless they're also empty. And when they're also and don't have love inside, then they're having a hard time. And a woman's job is to learn to respect her man, because when man feels respected, then he feels love. He feels that his wife loves him. And for a woman, then priority is to feel loved. And so, yeah, it's your job to learn and accept that your wife is nagging and insecure. And if you're gonna accept that she's nagging and insecure, she will again have also a desire to work on herself. And if she's open to it, if you're not gonna make her wrong, but inspire her to watch some of my spiritual videos, if she's gonna start waking up in the morning and start the day with affirmations or meditation, she's gonna start overcoming that insecurities. But you gotta come from the space of not fixing her. Something is wrong with you, go get fixed and at least I'm gonna fix you. But rather acceptance and really loving space. And that's important. Let's see. How do you attract a man with the same providing and protecting values that we as a woman expect? You see, the word expect is already a problem. And now I'll explain to you now what do I mean by that. I've been to Africa many times. I love Kenya, I love Tanzania. And so first time when I went to Kenya, I saw, when I was passing by a village, a tree, and on the tree there were monkeys sitting, but around the tree poachers were walking, and they were putting a lot of cages with one banana. And what do you think monkeys were doing? They were coming down from the tree full of bananas, and they were going to the cage, pulling on the banana, and guess what was happening? The cage were closed and monkeys were caught. Then, a few years later, I went back and I was passing again the same village. But this time, I didn't see a man with guns. I saw a man with a green shirts. And I asked a driver, who are these men? He said, oh, these are scientists. I said, oh, stop the car. So I went, curious me, and start talking to the scientists. I said, what were you doing here? And they said, Alisa, we're trying to figure out what can we do so the monkey would let go of the banana. And I say, why do you want the monkey to let go of the banana? So the cage will open and they will be free. But do you think any monkey would let go of the banana? They didn't. But why I'm sharing this story? Each one of us are holding on to some kind of banana. And banana is our expectations. And so it's same thing here. When you want a man to provide you with the same expectations, same income, same values, the expectations equals zero. Yes, my friends. What do I mean by it? We have to be in such a way in life where we are expecting zero. We give 100. And when we give 100 from our fullness of a heart, we're full as a whole being, we don't have any expectations. And then universe and the people that we're attracting is providing, because the providing comes not from the man. It comes from the universe itself. When you're full, God, universe, however you want to call it, providing you with this man. But it cannot come from expectations. Well, I'm smart, I'm confident, I have degrees, let me find the same man. Then it doesn't work. When you come from the kindness, humbleness, and not expectations, but acceptance of it all, then the universe gives you what you want. But again, your questions even comes from the space of it has to be this way. And when it has to be this way, it actually never happens. So be careful with expectations, because expectations gives you in life zero. Yeah, my friends. Hello from Scotland. Hello. My husband is pushing me by saying you're not working. This is pushing me back to working. By the way, the worst thing a man can do by hurting his wife is by telling her go to work. I had a girlfriend many years ago. They had 4 children and her husband was working, and he was coming home every day from work and telling her, how dare you not working? All you do is just cooking and cleaning, cooking and cleaning. She was taking care of 2, 4, 6, and 8-year-old kids. And that was not good enough for him. And he was punishing her every day. Yes, to a woman it's a punishment when a man says go to work, go to work. And that's why those kind of things needs to be discussed in the dating process. And that's why dating should be 4, 5, 6 months long. And those things needs to be discussed, because I would have never, ever married a man who would have told me go to work. It was my choice in the beginning to work, but we discussed those questions, and I was very clear when we're gonna have kids, I would quit my job, even though I still worked a little bit, but I was working towards quitting my practice. And so, my friends, if you're a man and you can share that with your husband, this is the worst thing a man can do to a woman, by telling her go to work, because he had a mother figure who was working and who was helping her husband, or she was a single mom with a masculine energy, and to him it's a comfort zone. He wants now the same thing. And so, yeah, this is biggest red flag when a man says that. And a lot of men and women now are saying, well, unless we have 2 paychecks, we cannot afford a house or mortgage or apartment. Maybe in California or New York City, but everywhere else you can. And so, yes, you gotta sacrifice and move maybe to, I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, or other states, because a woman is not designed to work full-time. When a woman works full-time, she degrades, and she has very little love to give to husband, to kids, and herself. And so, my friends, yeah, if you're married to a husband who tells you go to work, that's the biggest red flag. Yeah.